What's going on YouTube? My name is Zenna. Welcome back to another Delta Force video. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at my settings to hopefully optimize your game, get the best performance, and get the best visibility as well. Just a quick disclaimer before we get into this. I am not going to pretend that I'm some kind of PC optimization expert. I have a very basic understanding of all of these individual settings. I simply learn from others, and I also do my own individual playtesting in-game. I have a ton of hours put into this alpha test, so I've definitely had some time to play around with the settings, and I believe I have found some good visual and optimization settings that will give you at least a nice baseline. But if I get some stuff wrong, if I mess up in some of my explanations, I just want to put it out there, and I'm very sorry. We're just going to start off with the graphics, because I know that's probably why a lot of you are even watching this video. Obviously, plug in your monitor, your graphics card. I recommend running full screen, run whatever resolution. I'm on 1080p. Your highest refresh rate you possibly can. Mine's 240. And then aspect ratio 16:9. Brightness, I have my brightness turned up slightly. Make sure frame rate cap is unlimited. Sharpness, I have visibility problems with this game, so I have the sharpness turned up to 85. VSync turned off. Field of view, if you don't want to run it this high, I understand, but just make sure you turn it up from the default at least to like 90 to 100, somewhere in that range at the absolute minimum. The max FOV is 120. I don't think you need all that personally. 110 seems fine. Scope nav magnification, I have that turned off. Graphics, I've got it on custom. Weapon motion blur turned off. Most everything is on low. I do have texture filtering on ultra. I do have ambient occlusion turned off. I have the scene view distance. I have that turned up to ultra as well, just to be able to see a little bit further. Same thing with the textures, just be able to get a little bit more clarity on some of those long distance targets. Rendering scale should always be at 100. Depth of field, this needs to be turned off. It is apparently bugged, so every time you load up the game, it's automatically turned on, but just want to go ahead and turn this setting off. Low textures, ultra streaming, I have that on medium. Some more low settings here. Post processing, I have that on high. Again, we're just looking for better visibility where we can. If your individual PC is maybe a lower end, feel free to turn all these settings down low. For the super resolution, a lot of people recommend running DLSS, but to me, it makes the game blurry. It's almost like there's like the players when they're running, or like the players, there's like a trail almost behind them, like it's an animated effect. I'm just not a fan of it. The NVIDIA Reflex, however, this is very nice. I definitely recommend running this or turning this on. It reduces the input latency, and I definitely recommend this setting. Moving over to audio settings, master volume turned up all the way. I've got it on headphones for my output. HRTF, which is supposed to give you better immersion and 360-degree precise awareness, but when I turned this on, the footstep audio was like, it was more difficult to read accurately, like which direction it was coming from. So, you know, maybe there's some, I don't know, maybe it doesn't work well with my headphones. Maybe there's some tweaking they can do with this. It seems like it would be a setting that would be useful to use, but for me personally, it did not help me at all. I have sound effects turned up and everything else half. I do like the music in this game. Normally I would turn music down in most games, but I actually like the music in this game. The UI volume, voice volume, it's just a little bit distracting, so I have this turned down. And then VoIP I just have completely disabled because I don't want to listen to just obnoxious open mics. Moving back over to the screen tab, I do have the performance parameters enabled. I do not actually play Tactical Turmoil, so all these settings I just ignore. This is actually a really important setting right here for me personally. Rotating perspective on the minimap. When the minimap is just, which this setting is off by default, but when it's just stagnant and it's not rotating, I find it's confusing for my brain. I don't know if that's just like me personally, but I like to have the map to rotate with my player. Infantry, FOV on the minimap, I have this, I think it's, yeah, I turned this up a little bit. I think it's closer to 80 on default. Just to give me a little bit more information on the minimap as well. Ground vehicles, I think you should turn that all the way up. You need to know as much information as possible for the ground vehicle. Same thing with aircraft. And then the minimap icon scale, I believe this is just default. Moving over to keyboard and mouse, starting off with sensitivity, I run 1000 DPI and 4 in-game sensitivity. I will probably continue to adjust this, possibly down, but for now, 4 sensitivity feels pretty nice. All my other sensitivities I have just at 1. For the hipfire aim sensitivity type, there's a lot of talk around this particular section here with the MDV or monitor distant coefficient. To the best of my understanding, if you have it set to sensitivity per zoom, this enables you to have a true one-to-one sense. Now, I also have the MDV included in there as well, and I have the coefficient set to 133. I see most other people running 133, 178, or 0. So experiment with your MDV on those 3 sensitivities or coefficients, and to me, the 133 felt the best. It felt consistent with my different sensitivities, and to me, it's just about dialing in what feels most comfortable to you. Also, for the ADS sensitivity, I have a transition during aiming, scope magnification adapts automatically. This is just to help with FOV when you're scoping in. I will go through my actual keybinds because I do have a couple things that are different, starting off with prone and crouch. I used to play with hold crouch, but I had to make some adjustments. So now I'm actually playing on toggle at the moment. This is actually a pretty big change for me. I've been playing on hold crouch like my entire mouse and key life, and even a lot of my controller experience as well. So yeah, I'm still playing around with some of these keybinds, but for now, crouch is on toggle for C, prone is on control. My peak, I took them off Q and E, put them on my mouse buttons, and also I have a lot of people ask me about how do you set it to toggle. It's just right here on the right side. You can set to toggle or hold. That's obviously personal preference. Those settings are the same. Reload should be same. Oh, melee for me is F universally across all of my games. So no matter what game I'm playing, the melee is always going to be the F key. Most of this other stuff should be default. I think I switched up the firing mode. The switch optic or zoom, I put that on my left alt key. It's a very natural key for me to press because a lot of times I'll do a transition, a tactical stance transition while I'm jumping. So I'll hit the space bar, move over to my alt, click that. I do have a secondary keybind is here as well to swap with my scroll wheel. Might actually adjust this, but for now, the left alt is a nice option for me. I think X is for the tactical gear. This is my ultimate ability essentially. For my class gadget 1, I've got it on my Q. Class gadget 2, which is typically your grenade, I've got that on G, which is again pretty standard for a lot of the games that I use. That's what I try to do. I try to keep, when I play Battlefield or when I play Call of Duty or any other FPS game, I try to keep my, my grenade, my melee, my weapon swaps on just consistent keys, and that way it just feels more comfortable for me switching in between games. Still underneath keyboard and mouse, but we got screen and interaction here. The biggest thing I could tell you under this section is under the interact, rescue, execute, is to put the rescue on toggle instead of hold. I find this to be easier personally. You just walk up to your teammate to revive them. You just press your interact key, and if you need to disengage, you just press it again. It just works well for me. Obviously, this could be personal preference. Most of this other stuff is defaults. I don't believe I made any changes through any of these other keybinds. I haven't really dove off the deep end on the vehicle spectrum yet, so I haven't really messed with vehicle settings. I plan on focusing more on vehicles when the full game releases, but for now, everything's just basically defaults on vehicle side of things. Going back to the main game menu tab here, automatic airborne mantle, I 1,000,000% recommend turning this off. If you have this on, you'll just be mantling random objects and it just gets you killed, at least for me, because I do a lot of jump peeking in this game. And if I jump peek at the wrong, position, I don't even have to be facing like a box or a ledge. If you have this setting on, it'll just mantle it automatically and just get you killed. So turn this off. I don't like any kind of like auto deploy, auto mantle. I don't want the game doing anything for me. Let me control my own inputs. Weapon switching via scroll wheel, I recommend turning this off as well. I think this is a really bad habit to have. Put it on a particular keybind to swap weapons. This was a really bad habit of mine when I first started out playing on mouse and key. I just think it's not ideal and not efficient. Independent tactical stance control. I tried running this setting on and it just made the game too complicated. So I personally like to run the tactical stance control just turned off. It just simplifies switching between stances, at least for me personally. Scope magnification, I definitely recommend turning this on. This will match your FOV when you aim down sights, and it's kind of almost like easier to control the recoil just because it matches your FOV. Hit effect color, I don't really mess with colorblind settings. I just leave on any game that I play, I leave the colors the exact default. Again, vehicle settings, I haven't really messed with these a whole lot. And then this is tactical turmoil stuff, which again, I do not mess with. That's going to wrap up my Delta Force settings video. I know it's nothing crazy, but I had a lot of people asking for it. So I just wanted to put it out there for anyone who's actually interested in how I run the game. Again, take it easy on the comments. I know I'm not an expert. I'm fully aware. I probably got some things wrong. I probably explained some things wrong in the actual video, so I'm sorry. I'm just doing the best I can. Like I said, a lot of people wanted to see this video, so I just wanted to put it out there. But yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I've got more gun guides and commentary videos on the way. Thank you for all the incredible support. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.